Good day everyone, my name is Ayobami Oje. I'm a data analyst based in Lagos State, Nigeria, and I frequently drop videos on this channel that help to simplify the data analysis concept. I'm glad you are here. I recommend after watching this video, if you find it helpful or educative in one way or the other, try to subscribe to this channel. And you can also click on the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever I drop new videos on the channel. Yes. So today I'm so happy because I'll be starting my SQL series. I'll be starting with the most basic thing you can do with SQL. We're starting at the simplest point. So today I'll be teaching us, MySQL is a very beautiful software, and the graphic user interface helps you to be able to do some things even without having a knowledge of, how to write MySQL query. So we are going to be using the graphic user interface to create a database, to create a table, and to insert records into our table. So without wasting much of our time, let's get into it. I want to create a database for an hospital. I want to create a table inside it, every patient that is admitted in the hospital. So to do that using the graphic user interface, all we have to do is, come to this side of our MySQL where you have our schemas. When we say schemas, what we mean is, database. The word schemas and database in SQL can be used interchangeably. So when I say I create a new schema, I'm literally creating a new database. So the form is we have schemas, which are the database. Then in the schemas, which are the database, we have tables. We can have 10 tables. We can have as many tables as we want in each schema. Then in our tables, we can now create our columns, and inside our columns we can then add records. Like these are some of the databases I've worked with. This is a database, also called a schema. Then I have tables inside of it. As you can see, I have different tables. Now these tables will now consist of rows and columns, right? So to create a new schema, what we need to do is come here and we right click. Once we right click, we can say create schema. This tells SQL that I want to create a new schema. So once I say create schema, I need to come right here where it says name and put in the name of my schema. So if I say okay, um perhaps the name of the clinic I want to create a database for is Light Maternity. Let me say Light Hospitals. Light Hospital. Yeah. So let's use Light Hospital instead. Makes more sense. Okay. So I click on apply. So the moment I click on apply, SQL automatically generates the code to create this database. And once I come here to click on apply, the database is automatically created. Once that is done, I can just close this. Now let me refresh and check my database. As you can see, I have my newly created database here, which is Light Hospital. That's how easy it is with SQL graphic user interface. So like I said, we'll be creating a table inside of this schema. So to create a table inside of this schema, all we need to do is just still come and right click on tables that is inside of the schema we created. So let me close this again so you can see what I'm doing. I would open the schema and I'll come to tables. Now it's not displaying any tables inside of my database because there are no tables at all at this time. I haven't put any table into it. So what I need to do is right click here and say create table. And once I say create table, I can give the table a name here. So in this case, I want to call the table patient. Let me call that patient. So I'll say patient, the patient table. Then I have to come right here to list all the columns that will be present in the table. In this case, I just wrote a list of few columns I want to put in there. So let me check them out. Okay, I want to have patient ID, name, age, and weight. Okay. So the moment you are thinking about the columns you want to create in a table, you have to start thinking about the kind of data type they will take to in SQL. So firstly is patient ID. So let me put the first column, which is patient ID. Patient ID. The concept of putting an ID in each table you create is to put a unique identifier in the table. This unique identifier will uniquely identify every record in the table. So my primary key in this case is going to be my patient ID. So I'll click on primary key. I'll click on not null. Because the patient ID is a primary key, it cannot afford to be empty because it has to identify each record in a unique way. If you feel like you do not understand the concept of primary key well, and you'd like me to do a video to explain this concept, just drop comments in the comment section. So if I see a lot of comments there, then I would consider doing a video that explain the concept of primary key and other type of keys. So we can also would also click on the auto increase. The auto increment means that since this is a primary key, it's supposed to progress like when we have 001, 002, 003. So since I'm saying auto increment, it means that this primary key has to increase as it goes on. So this primary key is going to be in auto increment. It's going to increase gradually. Then another column we want to have here is the name column, the patient name, right? So I'll come here and say name, which is the patient name. Yeah, so MySQL named this right. This should be a varchar because for text in MySQL, we use this data type varchar. So when I say varchar, depending on how long I expect the patient name to be, I can now put a number here. I can say varchar 60 here because I don't expect the name of any patient to be longer than 60 characters. So I'll leave this at 60. Then what next? We want the age of the patient. Okay, age. So I'll say age. Now, my age cannot be virtual because age is a number, so it cannot be a character. Age is not A, B, C. We know age is 1, 2, 3, and so on. So I'll come and click on this symbol here to pick another data type. So I'll click on the int. Since I know that yes, age is int, you are either 1 or 2, 3 or 4, 5 or 6. Those are integers. So I'm going to leave that as int. Then finally, I want to have weight, the weight of the patient. So I'll come here and put the last column. I will erase this and say weight. It's giving me this as a data type varchar too. This cannot be a varchar. Weight can be, in decimal. We could better use decimals because weight can be, 70 point something kg, 15 point something kg, and the likes like that. So it is not proper for us to use an integer. We have to use most likely a decimal. So I'll click on this and come and find decimal. You see that the moment I choose decimal, a bracket comes in front of the word decimal, telling me to put the length of the decimal I want. So it is very important to know how to do this. And you are expecting length, this different lengths of decimal. That's the way you write it. In this case, I will say 5, 2. Where I'm saying 5,2 in this case is because I expect that the weight of any individual should not be more than 3 digits, maybe 100, 150, 250, 500, 700, 999. That should be the highest. Then I'm expecting to have a maximum of 2 decimal places after. So why is it? Because I'm expecting to have maximum of 5 numbers for this weight and 3 on the leading side and 2 numbers after the decimal. So I'm only expecting 3 numbers on the leading side before the decimal point and 2 numbers after the decimal point. So once I'm done doing this, I can come on and say apply. And once I say apply, SQL automatically generates the code to make this table for me. As you can see, if we choose to write the code with our hands, like we will learn to do in later classes, this is what we would have written. So, but by using the graphic user interface, SQL automatically writes the codes out for me. So I say apply. Once I click on apply, SQL runs the code as you can see, and I can finish this. Then close this query. So let's look at our table now. Yes, as you can see, our table is showing right here. So we can click to view the table. So as you can see, this is the table right here. Remember, we just created a table and added columns into it. So there are no records yet, which are rows. We have no record of patients yet. So the next thing we'll be looking at is how to impute records into this table. If you want to impute record using graphic user interface, it is very easy. What do you have to do? You just have to come to this point and click on it. Let's say we want to start our patient ID from 0, 1. So the first patient you have ID of 0, 1. Then perhaps the name of the person is Albert Johnson. Then let's say his age is 52, and let's say his weight is 75.20. We can go on and impute another person. Say this 02. His name is Morris Benson. And let's say this guy is 45 years and his weight is 30. Is that possible? So let me use 65.4. So we can go on and on and on and on like that. So I can come here and say Taiwo Allen. This person is 15 years old. Let's say this guy probably weighs 35 kg. So, but for the sake of time, let's stop here. So when we are done, we click on apply, right? And when we click on apply, you can see that SQL writes the code again like it usually does. And once you say apply, all this is added to our table. Now, let me click on to view your table. You come to the where the table is and you come and click on this calculator symbol that has like a flash symbol on it. So if you click on this, you can see that it shows our table, showing the patient ID, showing the name, showing the age, and showing the weight. Since it is my plan not to make this video long, so for this I'll be stopping here today for this class. If you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate that you drop comments and you drop likes on this video, and you also subscribe and click on the notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I drop new videos on this channel. So thank you